And he didn't like it because he makes it better than one to compare. So I was actually really wicked and intelligent. He was seeing it and that's not very good to me. I really didn't think about it Start going out our door about a
I would not be doing that. It don't matter. You're supposed to be cleaning your room.
I heard the front door, maybe he left.
He probably said, I ain't being in this dirty ass house.
No, the Trent tries to bully him and get him to take his room. Yeah, so my whole Sam's Club trip that I was doing for next weekend has to be today. I was on your birthday last week. I knew that
Place that shut down now.
Device? Yeah. Where's my friend at? Did you put him in our picture?
Oh, what happened to her?
I did not see her for so long. Yeah, she's so weird. She's really a fucking shot, but she's like the biggest shot in Mexico. That's India now. This is weird when she hangs around with this people. She's like, I don't think I should do this. Bitch, I don't want you to do shit. I just want you to do anything. But she really tell you her friends really act like this and do this and do that. What the hell? Maybe I was one of that skins of bells, but you got the little
Your heartburn?
Huh?
Your heartburn?
I'm
If you was working out. I didn't feel that shit at all. I because you haven't used those muscles, and now you're using them. So they're sore because you overexerted them. I didn't do shit like that. Was you using your arms? It's all connected. You must have to. Yeah. Your plates in the microwave.
Bro, I'm telling you, she be jumping that shit. She be jumping.
She definitely letting you know, hey, I'm trying to get in.
Front falls, back falls, getting this shit, forehead getting this. She be jumping that shit. I'm telling you. She is not losing that shit. She's knocking on that shit. What's up, bitch? I know what to do.
And she's sitting there looking at me like, yeah, and I banged the door.
Don't play with it.
You got plenty of things?
Damn.
Mom gave up on trying to beat my high score. She realized she can't beat it. She hard.
It went from 21,000 to 24,000 to 27,000, now it's 41,000. I can barely get 15. Highest is 18.
You did that, Chanel? You didn't do that, right?
No, I'm sleeping in the freaking living room and kitchen. So, Quentin takes 1,000 leaves in the hospital. And she's going over there and she's smacking the leaf pile. So they're just spreading across the floor. I'm like, can you stop? So I swept them back.
Did you do that, Chanel?
Then she goes over the nose. And they're going back. I'm like, bro.
Chanel said she didn't do that.
No. If you don't keep your darn hair off of me.
Well, I didn't even move my ponytail.
That was your hair.
I didn't look at my hair. I didn't even touch it.
Well, it must have been on you. In the car, your hair's on you. Why do your hair on the bathroom floor? No, you need to cap that thing. At every moment. Facts, because your hair be everywhere. Triton! If you're downstairs, how are you cleaning your room? And what are you doing in my living room and kitchen?
Oh, I did look at this.
Really just off on that. Should have kept following.
Don't give me no Pac-Man tips like you know to do. You don't know to
I've
do.
seen it.
You don't know to do.
No, that's a full compliment.
She's definitely like calm down. She's not as crazy as she's crazy. She's talking about buying shit on Facebook. What's the case? She's like, yeah, you gotta be careful because I don't want bitches to get me. What the fuck are you doing? Like, bitches is gonna jump you out. She's fucking 8 months pregnant. What is she doing? And she was like, bitches don't like you. Like, a lot of girls don't like you. She's like, she don't be knowing, like, you know how people on Facebook, you have the profiles, and like, you can see their ass. She's like, I don't be knowing the internet and make it so much, like, totally, like, people, because I was like, you know, she is. I'm not trying to get jumped. And I was like, you gotta be getting jumped.
You know, a pregnant person has to buy one, get one free.
I know, but I mean, you would think that people have rules not to do shit like that, but this is not good shit.
Yeah.
I wouldn't fight a pregnant lady.
But What if she smacks you?
You got it.
She push you.
You got it.
She just keep punching and smacking.
Try
You
it.
got it.
What you
I'm
do?
about to
Stop.
run away.
You gonna run
Go
away?
clean your room.
You can't let nobody touch you.
Are they gonna be bragging about how they beat you up while they was pregnant?
That's good.
That's what you gonna be telling them?
Yeah, what do you want me to do? Beat her up like you said?
If she put her hands on me, I'm gonna beat her pregnant ass. Her and the baby.
How can you do that?
I'm punching her right in the.
Something bad.
I'm punching her right in the stomach.
Even months after, I could still be paying for the cause of the baby.
Punching her right in her fucking pregnant ass stomach.
Oh, you don't think the baby honey? What she said after the drinking face?
I mean, certain things maybe I would, but not.
So what would make you cause you to slap her?
She spit on you. What if she,
Facts. You're getting smacked the fuck up.
what if she spit on you? You just taking
Don't
it?
spit in my face.
Just taking it too?
I'm not gonna punch her in the stomach, but I'm smacking.
You gonna just take it?
Yeah.
No,
absolutely. You're gonna let somebody spit in your face?
bro, you can wipe that shit off.
Oh, hell no.
Mm-mm.
That shit is disrespectful and degrading. You're not spitting in my face.
Now what is coming after the baby?
For me smacking you in your mouth?
Bro, they be doing crazy shit like that. Then they gonna pin it on you and say you're the reason that this bitch didn't have a stillborn baby, but she was drinking Tito's and Patron her whole day.
No, I smacked
That's
her in
why
your
they
mouth.
said that.
That has nothing to do with your baby me smacking you in your mouth. You can let somebody spit in your face. I'm not. You're not spitting in my face.
Maybe because I'm calm at the moment, but I don't feel like I was just yelling on the person. Alright, what she grabs you by your hair.
I mean, me knowing her, she's a bitch anyway, so I know she listens to it.
Once you did, you ran these blue balls and then dragged it and dragged that thing to you. That's what you should definitely do. I'm terrible at
Yeah, she don't.
Because I'm not just smacking you in your face. I'm just going.
God, what kind of mom have you turned
You're
into?
going to get 15 years of this anger.
He's sleeping.
I said the woman that spit me was just getting smashed in the face.
Yeah, but now a different pregnant woman, because it's a different woman that you know, now she's getting ragged and spit up. Oh yeah, that's too crazy. I really want to see because I want to eat. I'm hungry. But when the rest like, I'm all for having fun with each other.
Those cool places.
Same when somebody's pregnant with somebody, they don't like the person, the baby can well they can like them.
But it's weird because me and Russell like
That looks like you.
I know. It looks like me and my baby.
That is it. There's nothing wrong.
Yeah. The fuck?
He's a little badass.
He's way better than you. Gotta.
He was good when he was here.
Like, that's how you know he was good at job. Both said that shit. No,
He didn't do nothing. Trent was
He's not really that bad.
Trent was trying to get him to go fight Antoine.
Oh, that's what he told me. He said, yeah, that bitch ass nigga, when I come back here, I'ma get it. You
I
want
told
to
him,
bully my
I
cousin?
said, nah.
I said, you're gonna be locked up in fucking Kentucky jail.
He said, Kiki, but I said, Nathan. I said, you go outside, I promise you, don't do nothing stupid. I said, Rachel, I'm not playing with this. You already know how I am. I'll beat your ass. He's like, yeah, you know, you definitely stronger than my mom. I was like, I was gonna let you know, me. So you drink outside. Do not go messing with that kid.
No, he's gonna be a story.
Yeah, but first it was Antoine, then it was Story, before he put the hands outside. Because, you know, Trent was instigating it. Yeah, Mason, he pushed me too. Yeah.
I don't play no. Well, he's teaching me so good. That's your fault when you get bullied by him.
I expect boys to be boys. And, you know,
Antoine's like really good.
you're gonna, I get boys are gonna be boys, they're gonna fight, they're gonna, you know, wrestle, they're gonna do that. But there's a difference when you get your 15-year-old brother involved in it, and your 15-year-old brother is beating on my son, and then you're beating on my son with your 15-year-old brother. No. He has to put his hands on separate. That's what I do. I told him, I said, I'm gonna be happy to get you anyway.
Really, mom is so crazy. That day was hilarious. I'm really demeaning. I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to her because she's weird. Bro, because when you call me at work and I'm in front of all these customers, I cannot, like, I can't act like that. I have to talk like a regular person. But this bitch is calling me at work. Like, how do you think you
Sorry.
Because before that, that's what Corey, oh yeah, was.
Well, she changed her whole attitude. She was nice to me last time I went over there about the fight. She was like, yeah, I'm sure that they're taking it.
No, because she was nice to me after that incident. Because remember that she was like, I got Lucas or something?
Oh, yeah. The day that she was having the beef with Corey, and I went over there and made sure she was okay. So Sean called me.
That's crazy to me. Like, your mom has this and you're trying to do it. That's like, you need to go to like, for like, I don't know,
I'll push you, please.
in school for the bad kids and things. Like, I don't know. You need to go to like, what's that school? That's like,
Boarding school.
He's like, I'm gonna punch you in your face.
that's a facility. I'm trying to beat me 6 months. I wouldn't want to beat my mom. She got fucking sickness. I wouldn't beat my mom in the way.
Girls are more likely to fight their moms than boys.
No, moms are more likely to fight their daughters.
No, girls are more likely to fight their moms than boys.
I wouldn't fight them.
I'm saying girls are more likely.
Had to fight?
More, you can Google it. The statistics prove it's right.
Yeah,
I'm not proud of it now.
You sound proud of it right now when you say it. I'm very proud.
hey, that is mom is doing that.
I think she used to get drunk and then she used to come in there and like beat the fuck out of you for no reason. She took that 3-liter bottle of soda and chucked it right in, bounced right off my face.
How old was you?
I was like 12,
She could do that then.
maybe 13.
If you're 12 years old, she could do that to you.
She was walking the house in a breezy
Yes.
She was drunk off her ass.
for no reason.
Yes.
Came in the house, she was mad as fuck at Tanya, and we were in the room chilling, listening to music. And she started screaming at Tanya, and I was just sitting there. And next thing you know, she comes back with a 3-liter bottle of soda, and I think she meant to hit Tanya with it, but it, like, right on my face. And this was that. And then we was rolling down the front lawn.
I mean, yeah, that would set me up too.
I probably said a lot of mean things.
Sometimes I'm not gonna go with
Now
bad
that I'm
things
older, I'm
first
like,
and
you
let
better
my
handle
mom
that
out.
situation differently.
Yeah.
Hit it with a brush and then roll down the front yard with it.
Oh, well. You can go bad.
No, I mean, it's true. Now that I'm older, I can see where I could have just, you know.
Now we know why our kids is bad.
I'm not bad. I never try to be my mom. I just be good.
to a fence area. Oh, I was gonna say, if you put some closer, where you guys go at? That's what he did. What is that?
Got 11,000 on the first level.
You woke up at 3 in the morning, you always have days in your day.
I don't know. No can't babies in this house.
You gotta work for the next day. Shoot outside, being a stripper, $50.
She's about to get kicked out. Where's her family? We bought enough money now. Why you doing this? You want to know what that is? Granny McKinney got stretched. You have a party? Go. Go ahead. Go open the door. No, Chanel. Huh? She can get inside it. I think what it is I thought you have to turn it down and pull it. So she can get the handle down, but she can't, like, pull it. If that makes sense. Oh. You know, go open the door. You gotta go potty? It's good. Show Auntie how you open the door. No, watch, but if I get up, she'll
Go open the door, Chanel. Go.
open.
Chanel. Open the door. Chanel. Go open the door.
Open it. Open. Good girl. Good fuck, open. Open it. She really tried.
At least she's trying.
Oh,
Go
fuck.
potty.
You messed me up, man.
I mess you up. I'm over here.
I heard the noise at the door. I gotta come.
Oh my god. Don't blame your nonsense on me.
I swear! Today you went out and fight my mom.
You'll fight me today?
Yes. You come over here and play it too damn much.
I wasn't doing nothing.
Dad, get your girl. Dad! Dad, get mom!
That's what she do is barbing people. Then she act like she the victim. She do it to me all day long. I did this back to me. Now you see when you be coming out here.
Stop!
See when you be coming
Tickle
out
her!
here.
Get
When
her!
you be coming out here getting her. When you be seeing what's going on.
I'll come help you next time. Get mom!
Are you bumping my door?
Oh my gosh! I didn't say drown her!
Are you bumping my door?
Yeah, you're choking mom now.
If I throw it on you, you're gonna be mad,
Are you
right?
bumping my daughter?
Oh.
Are you
Dad,
bumping my daughter?
Keep playing.
oh my goodness.
Apologize for making me choke on the damn water.
I didn't think you were gonna do that. I thought you were just gonna tackle her. Oh my gosh.
Are you bumping my daughter?
Yeah, okay. I got it. Don't stop. Really, mom. Oh.
You're lucky I have quick reflexes.
Oh my gosh. I'm out of here. How did he catch that shit? Oh my gosh.
Chanel, stop that. Mama Granny, how we gonna go get water?
stuff. All right. Let's go.
You're just done with these leaves.
I am outside.
You've been outside all week long?
The sequels over and over again. When are they gonna start making new stuff? New stuff, huh? The sequels make so much money. We can't stop now. I can almost afford 2 cartons of eggs and a tank of gas. Wait, I have an idea. Let's put out a brand new original movie and not advertise it to anyone.
Come on.
And then use its failure to justify only ever making sequels and remakes forever. Get ready for Toy Story 7, where the toys have to learn about the importance of friendship again. Yeah, so, have you even heard of this movie? Did you know you can rent it right now? Do you know what it's about? I didn't know the answer to any of these questions until like 2 hours ago. So, Elio is Disney Pixar's newest movie that came out to absolutely raving box office numbers. Pixar's been having a rough time as of late. Inside Out 2 was popular. Elemental had a rough start, but did kind of okay later. But Elio, like, well, I tell you what, but now that it's out on rental and I can actually make a video about it, I wanted to give it a fair shake. You know, it's easy to be like, Disney Pixar is our life's apart, like everyone on YouTube is these days. But like, how even is this movie really? Let's talk about it. Come along, kids. Let's take a walk. Hey, 1 sec before the video starts. YouTube's copyright system has become incredibly bad for creators like me. So if you like these videos and if you want to keep watching them, I need your help. I opened up memberships here on YouTube. Just $6 a month gets you early, ad-free, sponsor-free videos. You can vote on what movies I make videos about. And if enough you sign up, Kelsey and I will bring back the podcast, audio animation live streams, and a full-quality regular video once a month for members only. Click the subscribe plus button or the link in the description to become a member to help keep this channel going. Okay, bye. So we start out with our main character, Elio, who's just your average, totally normal kid.
Elio, you have to eat something.
Leave it, don't leave. What are you doing here?
Hey, yeah, I'm with my nephew.
Your nephew. I heard about your brother and his wife. Oh, sorry.
Okay, alright. We're just jumping right in the deep end there, huh? Yeah, so Elio is almost a Disney princess, except he lost both his parents. I guess that means he's PAC-MAN. Now, because of this, he lives with his aunt, who works in the Air Force? Question mark? But she's just a single gal living out her cog in the machine dreams, and now she has to take care of a kid.
Remember, what about the astronaut program?
No, not anymore. It's by the time you visit him, right?
Of course.
So one day, she takes Elio to a museum, and he sneaks off to look at this exhibit about the Voyager gold disc thing they did back like the 70s or whatever.
It will drift on, solitary and alone. But maybe one day, distant worlds will receive its message, and Voyager will complete its mission, proving we aren't so alone.
And this sets up the rest of the movie where Elio feels very alone now that he's with his aunt, who, like, just is not connecting with him, you know what I mean?
Okay, so Shinji's mom is actually a robot, and whenever he pilots it, it's like he's going back into the womb, and humans are descended from an alien that was sent to Earth by mistake because there's another alien here first, but that alien makes robots now, and they're trying to mix the 2 aliens together, and that's why we have this girl who's helping Shinji's dad because he's trying to turn all the humans into a giant smoothie.
So which one's Bluey and which one's Bandit again? But since that fateful day at the museum, Elio has been obsessed with aliens and getting abducted. It's like those girls on TikTok who are like, OMG, I want to get kidnapped so bad. My literal dream is someone talking about how much I light up a room right before an ad for Raid Shadow Legends. So Elio stays at the beach all day, and apparently at some point he put up flyers for like a ham radio club, but really he just wants to take other people's radios and like boost his own signal for the aliens. And eventually 2 kids do show up, and would you believe that a kid who looks like this might be up to no good?
Is this supposed to be?
You see that? I was just...
Yes.
You know, I talked about this before, but like modern Disney and Pixar animation, like it's so frantic now. Like Wish had this issue, Moana 2 really does this really bad. And now same thing with Elio. It's like they can do lots of movement, so they feel like they have to. I made a video recently about Tangled, and I think that amount of animation is perfect. Like it's frantic when it needs to be, but also knows when to let characters stand still. Anyway, so this fight gets Elio in trouble, and his aunt has to watch him for a while at her like base place thing. Now while Elio's there, he overhears them talking about cool military stuff like sitting around waiting for hours doing nothing, or straight up lying to high school kids at the local hall, but also aliens.
Hey, John, we can't just leave it like this. We have to respond. I've already rerouted every satellite to send the signal back. First, contact.
Oh, also, just in case you're wondering, he has an eye patch now because of the fight he just got into like 30 seconds ago. So yeah, anyway.
I have everything queued up and ready to go. Just say the word.
Oh, Elio, this is your chance. So he waits till everyone's gone and makes a move. But in so doing, Elio overloads the satellite system and almost just like blows the entire place up. Well, hey, kid, don't worry about it too much, okay? Sometimes I do the same thing when I overload myself with 2 kombuchas in one day. And so, being the troublemaker that he is, Elio's aunt has no choice but to send him to boarding school.
You know, I went here too when I was a kid. You might not believe me right now, but this will be good for you.
Okay, I'm sorry, but no one who goes to a place like this and enjoys it should be trusted. This is like the winner of the Hunger Games being like, oh yeah, it was pretty fun. Like, okay guys, I found the psychopath. Now, through the magic of happenstance, these 2 kids from earlier are also in his boarding school, and because of what happened with Elio, they got in trouble too, and then this guy wants revenge for, you know, having to deal with the consequences of his own actions. Hope you like how it tastes.
You're so tense.
However, just before the blonde kid gives Elio a real wallop, time suddenly freezes and you'll never guess what happens. Actually, it's pretty obvious, but still. I just love how excited he is to get abducted by aliens. But like, hey, I get it, kid. I was gonna say I felt the same way when I was 12, but like, I'm in my 30s now and I'm still trying to get abducted or isekai or something, you know what I mean? But yeah, so finally, Elio's dreams come true when he gets taken by the aliens. Because they heard his message from earlier and now they think that he's like the leader of Earth or something.
Greetings, ambassadors. Absolutely ecstatic to make your acquaintance. Oh, you've run dry. Let me top you off a drink.
What was that? Oh, just see that? What kind of place is this?
Yes, one cerebellum, 4 lobes, and a medulla.
Alright guys, so hear me out. And so Elio gets introduced to this alien spaceship thingy dude, guys, where all the ambassadors from all over the universe gather to hang out and talk about cool alien stuff, like when your bleep lord gets caught in her meat move, you know what I'm saying? And to make sure nothing goes wrong back on Earth, they also make a clone of Elio, and of course, no one can tell the difference.
Can I trouble you for a DNA sample?
Sure.
Where are you
Oh, hey, I do the same thing with my booger sometimes. What? What was that? So, anyway, the clone gets sent to Earth to take Elio's place, and things go pretty well. No one suspects a thing.
I never should have left you here. Yeah, they chased me because I'm weak and small.
Something weird was happening.
That's okay.
I was tracking this crazy signal from space. Elio?
Are we doing regular or white cheddar? I'm starved.
So you don't want to talk about it anymore?
Not really.
Yeah, you know, this is like if I walked in and I was like, "Hello, honey, I'd like to apologize for something I did wrong." Alright, you ain't fooling nobody. Where's the real Alex? But okay, so Elio is finally living his dream. He's away from the stupid Earth and his dumb aunt who just wants to get to know him. Yeah, whatever. The school bullies have completely disappeared from the movie, even though having his clone interact with them would be a really fun thing to witness, but sure, okay. Until, of course, the villains show up.
Your technology and my weapons would be an unstoppable alliance. Now, admit me to your communivers.
Unfortunately, candidate Gragon,
Oh no, it's Gragon Drum!
it is our assessment that you are not a fit.
I, Lord Gragon, Blood Emperor of Hylerg, not a fit.
Now, because of this dude over here, the aliens decide that they can't let Elio into their special club because they have to run far away to avoid Gragon's wrath. But Elio offers to negotiate, and if he can stop this dude from destroying the entire universe or whatever he's gonna do, the aliens agree to let him stay on the ship and be an ambassador for Earth. And so he heads off to talk to the big evil bad guy.
You are a father, right?
Oh, yeah.
It is so difficult. He has no concept of the importance of my work.
I get it. If he's too hard to handle, then just strip him off.
Too hard to handle.
What? Whoops. Yeah, you ever like send the wrong kind of meme to the wrong group chat by mistake, and it's like, I wish he was ridging on my terabithia? Alex, what does this mean? So, Elio gets thrown in jail, but he escapes and falls down into the nest of the cutest little space worm you're ever gonna see in your life. Are you gonna eat me?
What? Yeah. I was just watching you because you seemed scared. That's what my mom does when I get scared. I mean, I ask a lot of questions all the time. No one ever asks me about questions about me, though. Like, what my favorite color is. It's purple, if you're asking. Are you asking?
Now, this little dude is Glordon, and would you believe he just so happens to be the son of Grygon, nephew of Bugbegon, roommates with Zordon, whose best friend is Tim. That's me. Now, we also find out that this entire race of alien warlord blood emperor dudes or whatever are actually just cute little worms wearing these, like, crazy, huge battle suits.
Every Hylergians gets one when they come of age. It's got weapons and bombs and stuff. Oh, and a cup holder. I can't wait to get installed. I'm gonna look so hot.
You know, okay, so like lately there's been a lot of talk about like Pixar beating now, right? Which I personally think is fine. But it is kind of weird that the last several Pixar movies all kind of look like they're just the same movie, you know? Like Pixar's big strength for decades was making non-human characters look really cute and alive and relatable. And so like when you see them just making movies about humans who are all in the same exact style, like I don't know, it kind of feels like a waste of their skills, you know? Anyway, so Elio escapes Grygon's ship with the help of Glordon, and they spend a little time together on the Communiverse space station, just hanging out, being a couple of dudes.
Noise. To make us get it. So everyone speaks Eloise on Earth? Nah, just me. And my parents. Or at least they did.
You know, so like slight tangent here, okay? But okay, so the movie Up, right? Like it used a show not tell approach where we saw Carl's journey into like who he becomes and why, you know. But in Elio, they just kind of tell us that we're supposed to care about this. Like obviously losing your parents is sad, but we never see the importance of the parents supporting his weirdness and speaking his fake language or whatever. And so then we ourselves can contrast that with how his aunt just like doesn't get him or whatever. Like the way this movie handles its own story, I feel like loses a lot of impact. But whatever. Anyway, so Elio gets the idea to use Glordon as fake bait to get Grygon to promise to not attack the space station. But Glordon doesn't actually want to go back because, you know, parents just don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, there's a flamethrower, circular saw, acid gun, we can fight, conquer, and kill.
Do you not want to get into your carapace?
Yeah, I mean, kind of, well, no.
So they get the idea to clone Glordon so that he can go back and do all the Endless War, Blood Prince shenanigans or whatever. And the real Glordon can do all the cool kid stuff like call people a bunch of slurs online because they like your favorite movie and or video game slightly less than you do. Don't worry, billion-dollar corporation, I'll defend you. But things don't go so well.
It was a clone. Where is my son?
And so, the end of the movie, Grygon takes over the space station because his son is missing. Elio gets kicked out because they find out that he lied about being leader of Earth and they send him back home. However, Glordon was hiding in a spaceship and he accidentally pushes the button that takes him to Earth. Classic mistake. By this point, Elio's aunt figured out that this dude is a clone.
Hi,
We should probably talk.
And so, just to summarize everything here, Glordon makes it to Earth, but it's too cold for him to survive, and so Elio has to hijack the ship with his aunt and the help of the Elio clone.
You help me.
I don't feel so...
What's that? No, not again. What is it? What is it? They then travel all the way back to the space station to give the real Glordon back to his dad and hopefully save the universe before Glordon dies from the cold or whatever the stakes are in this movie.
Gordon, wake up. Can't lose you too.
And so Gragon realizes it's finally time to start being a dad, and he rips off his armor, which is apparently like a really big no-no in their culture. Don't worry, everybody. Glordon's totally fine in the end. So yeah, you know, Elio finds out that aliens are real and he saves the universe and they make him an official ambassador and he gets to live on this magical, amazing alien space station as long as he wants. And the whole time his aunt is just standing there being remarkably chill about all of this. Your dreams came true, Elio. Come on, let's go.
This place is amazing, but Earth is home.
Yeah, so like the final message of this movie is so stupid. It's like Elio's desperately trying to find somewhere he fits in and people who like get him, right? And he gets to live on this crazy alien space utopia and travel the universe or whatever. But then in the end he's like, yeah, actually I think I'll just stay on Earth and work a job I hate for 40 years so I can have like 3 good years of freedom before I'm too old to enjoy myself. Intergalactic travel while learning about the secrets of all creation? Nah, I'd rather just go back home and get really into a Netflix show that they cancel after 2 seasons and never resolve the cliffhanger.
I didn't give it a chance, but now I want to try. With you.
That's right, kids. So, don't have dreams or leave your home for any reason. If things suck, don't want better life, because that's ungrateful of you to do. Yep. So, what was your favorite part of the movie? That's my tip. Now, a little while ago on Reddit, someone posted about how they were in a test audience for like an earlier version of the movie, and the original version with the original director was apparently quite a bit different. Like, his aunt was actually his mom, who was the one who was obsessed with aliens and not Elio. He gets abducted by aliens and his clone gets sent to Earth, but then the clone becomes a villain of sorts because he doesn't want to leave, having experienced like love for the first time or whatever, and he wonders why Elio doesn't appreciate a mom who wants to like share her life and interests with him. So it seems like the movie used to be more in line with Luca in terms of being a bit more like an interpersonal story, but Elio changed directors halfway through production, and then they made it much more large scale, like fate of the universe kind of thing. But that being said, the Elio we got, it's not a bad movie by any means. Like, it definitely deserved way better than it got. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, please watch another one, because that's how the algorithm works. So click on this one that's being recommended to you right now, right here on the screen. It actually helps a lot if you do that, because like that's how YouTube knows that my videos are...
What? Not till your room's clean.
Theme parks, the happiest places on Earth with the highest concentration of mobility scooters per square mile. But somehow, some way, these giant city-sized amounts of real estate devoted to letting people pretend they live in a fantasy world have some weird secret stuff going on. I'm as surprised as you are. Look at this. You see what I'm talking about? That's not the real Timon from The Lion King. That's a person in a costume. There is a person inside that meerkat. What's that, honey? No, I can't help with the baby right now. I'm making an important video. That was rude. Anyway, let's continue to unmask the Timon that is Disney until we find the weird, secret, smiling person underneath. Because I looked up some stuff out and I looked it up and now I will present it to you with research. Today we're talking Disney secrets. Secret number 1. People like to scatter ashes at Disney World. This is the story I read about recently that inspired this video. Now listen, some of us are Disney adults and some of us are not. To Disney adults I say, do your thing. I'm not gonna yuck your yum. I also refuse to yum your yuck. Or I don't want to touch anyone's yucky bits. But yeah, spreading your loved one's ashes around a public place, that is a yuck from me. Apparently this is a thing that happens so often that Disney employees have an actual code for it to communicate it over walkie-talkies. They call it a white powder alert, which is also definitely what an 80s stockbroker would shout when the guy with the stuff arrived. So when Disney issues a white powder alert, they apparently send men with vacuums, which I find to be a little insensitive and disappointing for whoever gets that job. Can you imagine wanting to work at Disney your whole life only to get assigned the position of human remains picker-upper? I am not thrilled to report also that some ashes do slip through the cracks. The ash cracks. No, that's not it. Like this one family who split their grandmother's ashes into Ziploc bags. They breezed past security to scatter the ashes at Cinderella's castle. There was one guy sitting there smoking who saw the whole thing. He was like, "What'd you guys do?" My mom goes, "We just scattered my mother's ashes." He took this long drag, exhaled, and said, "That's fucking awesome." I think as a smoker, he just likes ashes. He wants them in his lungs, he wants them on the floor, he wants them all over his theme parks. Triple dips on Ash Wednesday, so he's covered head to toe, just a total ash freak. But it's not just human people you don't know doing this. Celebrities have done this too. Whoopi Goldberg admitted that she scattered her mom's ashes in the water of the It's a Small World ride by faking a sneeze. Which one, weird, creepy ride to do that on, and also must have been really confusing for bystanders to see. Huh, is that Whoopi Goldberg? Oh, I think Whoopi Goldberg needs to see a doctor. That's not normal. One last unfun fact about this. Apparently, most people try to spread the ashes at the Haunted Mansion ride. So next time you're there trying to enjoy the fake light show ghosts, just know there are some real ghosts hanging around too. Stuck forever in that ride that became subpar Eddie Murphy and Lakeith Stanfield movies. Smaller hydration today. The large bottle is in the shop for repairs. I'm sure people spreading ashes is very annoying for Disney, but you know what's even more annoying? When people do the thing that causes them to be turned into ashes in the first place. That was a confusing way of saying that. I'm talking about dying. Fortunately, though, no one ever dies at Disney parks. Now, how is that possible, you may ask? Is Disney made of real magic? Does Tinkerbell come over and get on the head with her magic wand with a protection spell? Unfortunately not. Tinkerbell's not real. I stayed up till 4 a.m. every night as a 6-year-old waiting for her and the Tooth Fairy to see if they were friends. And then again at 14 years old, and once more this past July. Anyway, the actual supposed answer to why no one dies at Disney parks is actually in this TikTok video from a former Disney employee. He says he saw a guy faceplant and then the EMTs tried to resuscitate him for almost 15 minutes. He was freaked out because that's way too long and incredibly morbid, so he asked his manager what was going on. The manager was like,
"No one dies at Disney World. Everyone is resuscitated or attempted into resuscitation until they're off the property, then they're formally declared dead."
Yo, that's extremely sad. There are actually documented cases of people dying at Disney, though, so even though this guy said yo, his claim doesn't seem to be entirely true. He did say yo, though. But you can imagine that this may be a thing that they definitely attempt to do and doesn't always pan out. Just low-level weekend at Bernieing people out of the park so they don't get bad press. Oh, what, this guy on the floor? No, he's just sleepy and he needs to go have a nap over there. Past those gates. So that's potentially kind of messed up. What Disney should do is paint these dead people some kind of color that makes them totally unnoticeable. Too bad that doesn't exist. Oh, wait. Disney invented a color and it's called Go Away Green. Yeah, just like any theme park, Disney has a lot of ugly things they don't want anyone to notice. Garbage cans, scaffolding, the entire movie Song of the South. So to kind of hide these things in plain sight, they invented this color Go Away Green. And it just kind of makes people's eyes sort of skip over it because it's so drab and boring. Joke's on them, though. I can see it. See, it's right there. It's green. Not to brag, but I did get a C+ on my rainbows test in kindergarten. It's really effective, though, to people with an untrained eye. Like, before they painted this Latisse screen, it would have been a real eyesore, but now, it's like it's not even there. May as well be a bush. Like a Minecraft-themed bush. Does Disney own Minecraft yet? If they don't, they will soon. Next secret. There are tunnels underneath Disney World. You may already know about this one. It's a standard thing third graders tell each other about Disney World.
Did you know there are tunnels under Disney World? Yeah, I know, and I heard Goofy's mom didn't even want him. She just carried him to turn for the alimony. That's a new one to me.
These tunnels are called the utilidors, and they're the only places that Disney cast members are allowed to decapitate themselves. That sounded darker than I meant it to be. It's the only place they can take off their fake character heads. If they puke in those things up there on the human level, they gotta just live in that and hope it opens up their pores or something. Has anyone tried that? That might open up pores. The utilidors are like a little city for Disney World employees. Specifically a city of mole people who are not allowed to see the light as themselves and must come up for air only within the confines of a prison of a costume. No judgment, just calling it like I see it. One thing the employees do get down there is their very own barber shop. It's called Kingdom Cutters. Cutters with a K. That's 2 Ks in a row, which is a dangerous amount of Ks to have in a row. On Yelp, this place has 1 3-star review from 2017. Who went down there and reviewed that? Quick aside here, but 3-star reviews are definitely the most worthless reviews. I'm a man of extremes. Only 5s and 1s for me, and actually sometimes 2 and 4s could be good. You can find some good problems in 2s and 4s. Just not 3s, though. 3s are like, why'd you bother writing a review? You that bored? If you are that bored, you've lived an uneventful life that makes me not super interested in your take on a Disney employees-only barbershop. I'm not reading that. Anyway, one last thing about the utilidors. You'd think they'd be closed off to the public, but they're not. So I guess they're not a secret. You can pay $150 per person to go on a 5-hour tour of the corridors. These fabulous, beautiful corridors pictured here. So you could be up there at the happiest place on earth, or you could spend the day in concrete tunnels in the underground bunker section, staring at costumed mouse ass with human heads. That might be fun. All the American flags are fake. So because Disneyland and Disney World are in the United States, they have a ton of American flags. Because everything in the United States has a ton of American flags, right, Jeff? See, that's kind of the situation down there. Except the thing is, you only think Disney is covered in American flags. See, the U.S. has a lot of laws about their flags. Like, you gotta fly them at half-mast sometimes during times of national mourning. Like, if someone important like Meryl Streep dies. Oh, wow. I just imagined a world without Meryl Streep, and that's not a world I want to live in. Anyway, because Disneyland doesn't want anyone thinking about the death of Meryl Streep or any other national tragedies while at the park, they don't want to have to lower their flags to half-mast. So they get around that rule by making fake American flags. All the flags at Disney World have either a stripe or a star missing, which means apparently they're not real American flags at all. They're American flags. Stay out of politics. Oh, come on. There is a river of poo in the middle of Disney World. You're damn right there is after I have one of those freaking corn dogs. Am I right? Stay out of politics. Diarrhea. Okay, but there is another river of poo thing going on there, but it's not real actual poo, so you don't have to, you can calm down about it. Just take a breather. Apparently, the designers of Liberty Square in the Magic Kingdom wanted to evoke the feeling of the American Revolution by mimicking how people back then would throw their poop in the streets because they didn't have indoor plumbing. So the Imagineers were basically like, yeah, Benjamin Franklin, okay, what did they do with the poop-poo? Where did the poop-poo go? Where did the poop-poo go? Choose that last one. By the way, a little late, but a word of advice to the people who lived in the 1700s, throw it in the back. Don't throw your whole pee-pee-poo-poo situation in the street where you walk and your kids play and stuff. Do it round in the backyard or maybe the side of the house. No great solutions, but you probably picked the worst one. I would imagine by the time it became a river of poop, they would have figured that out. Disney was apparently obsessed with how Alexander Hamilton pooped because another feature of Liberty Square is that there are 0 functioning bathrooms. How does a bastard orphan son of a whore go potty? Well, they didn't have bathrooms back then, so they didn't put any in this section either. To which I say, we do now. We have them now. Put some bathrooms in there. Now, you're probably thinking, Ryan, you big dumb idiot. You forgot the bathrooms in Liberty Tree Tavern and Columbia Harbor House. And to that I say, ha-ha, who's the idiot now? Those bathrooms are so far in the back that they're technically in other lands. I knew you were going to say that. I got you. I win. Video over. Mic drop. Hi there, hello. Please hit that subscribe button. I am a disembodied head, so you can trust me. You can trust me.
So as the Disney remakes just keep on rolling in, you have to wonder, like, what happens when they run out? You know what I mean? Are they just going to start remaking them all again in 2030? When Snow White came out and did just abysmal box office numbers, Disney put the lid on all the future remakes for about 7 minutes until Lilo and Stitch made $1 billion. Lilo and Stitch originally came out in 2002, and I was 14 at the time, so I knew everything and had very sophisticated taste. And I remember thinking this movie was real dumb. I thought Stitch was annoying. I thought the alien spaceship stuff was weird. I thought Lilo was obnoxious. I thought Nani was the hottest girl I'd ever seen. It was a whirlwind of emotions. So now the remake has come out and smashed every box office record there's ever been, apparently. And so I watched the original movie and then this new one. And you know, I gotta say, I was so wrong. The 2002 Lilo and Stitch movie might be the funniest Disney movie ever. I mean, like, literally laugh out loud hilarious. And then, like I said, I watched the remake, and, you know... But hey, what do you say we talk about some things? Come along, kids, let's take a walk. But before that, really quick, this video is brought to you by Opera. You ever heard of this thing called the internet? You can find anything on here. You know how many pictures of Judy Hopps they got on this thing? But if you're gonna surf the web, using Opera is the best way to do it. Their browser comes packed with so many features and bells and whistles, I tell you what. To begin with, Aria is their built-in AI tool. You can pull up Aria's command line with just a simple control slash, and does so many things for you. You ask it questions, you can ask it to fill in some text if you just need like a quick little something, you know, like, please tell my mom that, yes, I saw the news article she sent me, except I already saw it on the internet like 8 hours ago. But wait, there's more. Aria can even manage all your tabs for you, like this. Please close all my Amazon tabs. Please group all my Wikipedia tabs into a tab island. Tab islands are one of Opera's big features. If you or someone you know suffers from chronic having way too many tabs open because what if you need them like years later disease, Opera is perfect for you. You can group your tabs together manually by project or theme or whatever, and then expand and collapse them as needed. For example, I keep all my shopping tabs in one tab island so I can have all my carts in one nice little place without losing track of where that one thing was I was shopping for like a week ago. You can even have 2 separate tabs open at the same time. You need to cross-reference some info. You want to compare prices. It's all here, dudettes. With split screen, you can literally just drag your tab down and work on 2 separate pages in one window. Thanks, Opera. There's also so much more here too, like there's a built-in floating music player that automatically stops playing when you start watching a video. You can control your music without interrupting your work, even outside the browser. The same works for videos too. You can pop out videos and have them playing like in the corner while you do anything else? Is there anything Opera browser can't do? So it's time to throw away your old dumb browser that only does dumb stuff. Click my link down in the description and start using Opera browser today. Okay, back to the show. So the remake starts out very much like the original. We have this scientist guy named Jump Up, and he has genetically created some kind of something.
This monstrosity is the product of illegal genetic experimentation.
What deranged lunatic would create something like this?
I prefer deranged genius, but thank you for the introduction.
So like in the original movie, Jumba had this Russian accent that's very overplayed for this kind of character.
Dr. Jumba Trukiva, you stand before this council accused of illegal genetic experimentation.
Not guilty. My experiments are only theoretical and completely within legal boundaries.
But you know, it definitely sounds way better than the remake. Like, old Jumba felt authoritative, albeit a little bit silly and stereotypical. But in the remake, this is just one of the most phoned-in performances I've ever heard. Like, this dude recorded all of his lines on the phone while taking a dump. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so Stitch is some kind of super genetic dude guy who's indestructible or super smart. He even knows how to pronounce all the really hard dinosaur names. Incredible, this guy.
So naughty.
And so Jumba is arrested, and Experiment 626 is supposed to be exiled to the far reaches of space.
However,
he manages to break out, steal a spaceship, and hyperjump to somewhere.
Hyperspace.
Where will he exit?
In 12 hours, we project he will collide with a planet called Earth.
That's a planet full of water.
The majority of the population of this planet, let's see, apparently they spend all their time staring at a medium-sized screen, and then they reward themselves afterwards by turning on a big screen, but then actually just staring at a small screen in their hand the whole time. And they just kind of do this every day till they die, I guess. Now, long story short, this head alien lady makes a deal with Jumba that if he goes to Earth to get 626 back, she will commute his 1,000-year prison sentence or whatever. And he gets teamed up with local Earth otaku alien guy, Bleakley.
We'll simply vaporize the planet, Captain.
I wasn't ready, Councilwoman.
okay, you can't destroy the planet.
Oh, man.
Who's this?
Agent Bleakley, Earth expert at your service. I'm an expert in that planet's flora, fauna, and fashion.
Yeah, this outfit screams expert.
You know, in the 2D animated version, these guys are actually kind of cute in their own way, but like with realistic CG, like, they just look like nightmares. So then we hard cut to this weird planet Earth place, where we see our main character, Lilo, rushing through her little town because she's late to her hula recital.
Oh guys, look, I got a friendship bracelet too. That's not a friendship bracelet. Ew. Garbage girl puts garbage on her arm.
Girls, come on. Oh my God, come on.
You know, silly. not a friendship bracelet if you don't have any friends.
Oh, yeah, Rachel? Well, we'll see who's laughing when you go to prom with Kyle, but then you catch him dancing with Stacy, who's like not even pretty. And then you spend all of the after party crying in the bathroom while your makeup runs and ruins the dress your mom got you at TJ Maxx. So right away, you learn that Lilo is some kind of outsider. All the other kids just think she's really weird. You know, kind of like when you were in middle school in the early 2000s, and people find out you watch something called anime on a Toonami, and now you're known as the Dragon Sees Balls kid. Anyway, Lilo. So right here, with this whole beginning part, there's actually a lot of changes they made from the original. In this movie, Lilo is a cute little 6-year-old girl who just kind of doesn't fit in and gets teased by the other girls in her hula class. But in the original movie, Lilo was just freaking you are not ready for this. She just beats the crap out of this kid and chews her arm off. But this little doll thing right here, right? In the remake, this is just Lilo's kind of weird looking toy because she's so quirky. But this movie completely erases the real true backstory of this little guy.
This is Scrump. I made her, but her head is too big. So I pretended Buzz Light's eggs in her ears. And she's upset because she only has a few more things.
Oh my God. Is everything okay? The original 2002 Lilo is just hilariously out of pocket, okay? No joke, the best character Disney's ever made. And what really sells all this, in my opinion, is just how adorable the animation is. The way they design the characters is maybe kind of polarizing, but just look at how cute Lilo is when she just does literally anything. The way she bops around when she runs, the little mannerisms. The animation in this movie is really incredible. You can't get any of that in live action.
My friends need to be punished.
What is this movie? You know what she reminds me of? Is the little star from the Mario movie?
In an insane world, it is the same, but it's called crazy. Time, like hope, is an illusion.
Anyway, so Lilo gets in trouble for giving that girl what she had coming. Part of her eldritch darkness rage comes from the fact that her sister Nani was supposed to be there to watch her at the recital, but she never showed up. This is another change from the original movie that we're going to get into more later, so just keep it at the back of your head, alright?
Something needs to be done. So was how the trouble.
It's just not a good
So, the setup of the movie is that Lilo and Nani's parents died recently. Nani is 18 or 19 years old, Lilo's 6, and so now Nani is Lilo's legal guardian. But she's having a hard time juggling her different jobs to pay for everything and taking care of Lilo, who still doesn't quite understand why life is so different now. Oh, and also there's this whole thing.
What? Your acceptance letter to your dream school magically taken out of your trash and appearing in your bag at your place of work?
Stop with this.
And they wanted to give you a full ride.
Yeah, I know, but there's no way.
Lilo needs me here.
It's okay, so this movie already has plenty of emotional motivation. Why did they add this? Nani trying to be a regular 19-year-old girl taking care of her sister with child services breathing down her neck because their parents died. This is more than enough for us to care about these characters, okay?
I've been doing very, very great at hula. I've been eating a lot of organic stuff. Sometimes I eat too much. Sometimes I eat so much I can't breathe.
Oh yeah, also they totally changed the social worker. And originally it was Mr. Bubbles.
This is Mr. Bubbles.
Nice to meet you.
Your knuckles say Cobra. Cobra Bubbles. You don't look like a social worker.
I'm a special classification.
Did you ever kill anyone?
So Disney actually talked about this change before the movie came out, and they said this. If the dramatic stakes of Lilo is that she's going to be separated from her sister, then you need a person who actually services those stakes in a credible way. Fletcher Camp says, you can get away with that being Cobra Bubbles in an animated film. A 6'5" huge dude with Cobra tattooed on his knuckles is somehow a social worker in that world. So I mean, We still have the aliens and Stitch and all of this, but a large black man being a social worker is just too far? Is that not the entire point of this character? So Cobra Bubbles is in this movie, but he's just a CIA agent guy who finds Stitch's spaceship. The social worker and Bubbles are split so that each one of them is now just a one-dimensional plot device instead of a singular, multi-layered, subversive character who grows on you over time. Because that would just be silly, wouldn't it?
Good day.
But anyway, all this aside, Nani and Lilo are having a rough time.
Oh, at least I don't tell the social worker I like jumping out a window.
Yes, the screaming goat name. That's never once been funny, but here we are. So the big threat looming over our characters right now is that Nani has to make some big changes to their life, or else Lilo will be taken away into foster care.
First, I want this house clean, including laundry and a fully stocked fridge. Second, pay all those bills I saw in the kitchen. And third, file for health insurance for you and Lilo. Now, if you do those 3 things by Friday, I might be able to give you some more time.
Now, one day, Stitch's ship finally lands on Earth, and Lilo sees this thinking it's a shooting star, so she scrambles to make a wish.
I wish for upon a side even though it's very fun. I wish as a friend, a real friend. Someone who won't chase me. Someone who won't run away. Like a best friend.
But make sure that she's like the good kind of weird and not the bad kind of weird that's like really annoying or whatever. Because there's only room in this friendship for one annoying drama queen, and that's me. Now, in the original movie, Nani hears Lilo wishing for a friend, which is why they go to the dog shelter the next day. But in the remake, Lilo goes to the shelter just like on her own because she feels like it, and Nani is upset by this, which feels so weirdly incongruent. Because like in the original, you know, it's like, oh man, I feel so bad for Lilo. Maybe we could get a dog or something. And in the remake, it's like, oh man, I feel so bad for Lilo. Anyway, guess I'll play Fortnite. So like I said, Lilo goes to the dog shelter one day, apropos of nothing, and guess what she finds there?
No.
You know, I will say, okay, despite the fact that they like smushed his face back for some reason, Stitch is pretty gosh darn cute in this movie, alright? And so Lilo takes Stitch home with her despite Nani having her flabber completely gasted by this.
You animal! What were you thinking?
Was it her idea? No. Did she think what's this? It was my idea.
Now, while this is all going on, we also have Jumba and Pleakley landing on Earth trying to find Stitch while causing as little of a ruckus as possible.
There. No, you find me, please.
The humans are fierce.
Now, this is where they make another real big old dumb change in this movie. Okay, so in the original, these two put on outfits, and through the magic of comedy logic, no one really notices or cares. Which, you know, that's like the entire joke, right? But in the remake, because this would all just be too silly, you know, almost as silly as a black guy social worker, let's take it one step farther.
Human, what a downgrade. Oh,
They look like best friends, just like us. Apologies. What a nice arm you have. Guys, on anything?
I feel like I lost some chopsticks. My legs fell a little.
So they turn into real people for like 3/4 of the movie, and I just completely stopped caring about anything they do after this. Not that they were like super compelling characters in the original either, but you know, having aliens be aliens and doing the whole fish out of water thing, like it was kind of endearing in its own way. But as I've said before in countless other videos, taking them from animated into real people means that now they're just borderline unwatchable.
I didn't know it was going to be like this. Let's put it from the
Aloha.
Aloha.
How are you?
Hilarious. And more than that, it's also just completely pointless because Stitch is already the slapstick comedic focal of the entire movie, and now we just have like Harry and Marv from Home Alone just bumbling around for no reason. We already have Stitch for all of this. Speaking of Stitch, you know, the whole thing with this character is that because he's curious and also indestructible, and he gets into all kinds of whatever, you know.
Oh, great! He's loose! His destructive programming is taking effect. He will be irresistibly drawn to large cities where he will back up sewers, reverse street signs, and steal everyone's left shoe.
But man, this remake, they really turned everything up to 11. Okay, it's just more slapstick, more shenanigans, more everything. You know, like obviously the original movie was mainly for families with kids or whatever, but this remake is just jingling keys every 5 minutes for the ADHD TikTok crowd, you know what I'm saying? Also, like back in the original, there's quite a few slower scenes with Stitch where we get to see a little more depth in his character, like when he reads the Ugly Duckling book, for example.
He's sad because he's all alone and nobody wants him. But on this page, his family hears him crying, and they find him. Then the Ugly Duckling is happy.
But pretty much all that is gone in this remake, and Stitch is just doing all of the Stitch stuff. You know what I mean? But all the same, this is pretty much how the movie goes, more or less. Nani has to spend all of her time watching Lilo and Stitch. Oh, that's why the movie's called that! Guys, I solved the riddle. All the while looking for a job, but Lilo and Stitch keep getting up to no good nonsense, and Nani keeps getting fired from and or rejected from every job she tries for.
Not at this hotel. Wait, well,
Again, there's a pretty major change from the original movie where Nani's looking for a job, so she talks to this like insanely hot lifeguard. Man, I'd say it's a very formative scene when you're 14, I'll tell you that right now. Oh yeah, okay, I definitely like girls. Yep, I can't wait to get a girlfriend. Wow, this did not go like I thought it would. So after being rejected constantly and Lilo feeling like it's all her fault, they all decide to take some time off and go surfing with local hot dude neighbor guy, David. Now this is where Jumbo and Pleakley finally catch up to Stitch, and through all the hullabaloo, Lilo almost drowns, which ends her up in the hospital. Nani already kind of feels like she's like a bad sister mom, you know, but also she never got around to getting the health insurance, which is kind of like strike 3 for CPS.
It means that you have to officially relinquish guardianship of Lilo. We don't say goodbye. We say Lilo until we meet again.
I just love how she explains Hawaiian words to her as if she like wouldn't know. So this brings us to the last act of the movie, where Jumbo shows up one last time while Lilo and Stitch are home by themselves, and then the movie just takes the most bizarre twist out of nowhere.
All these memories. Humans are so attached to each other. Attachment means you care. And caring causes people to make very stupid decisions.
Like, where the heck did any of this come from? The original movie doesn't really have a villain per se. It's just like everyone has different reasons why they want Stitch. Like, Jumbo wants him back because it's his experiment. The Galactic Federation wants him because he's dangerous and they want to stop him from getting on people's nerves. And Lilo wants him because he's her only true real friend. But in the remake, they just give Jumbo this out of nowhere Act 3 personality shift where he just like hates friendship and wants to use Stitch to rule the galaxy or something.
You know, even with that little girl baby, realized you're not the heartless monster I thought you were. But once I remove your capacity for love, you'll be perfect. And then, with 627 by my side, the councilwoman won't be able to stop me.
Like, the heck is all this? Like I kind of talked about earlier, everything in this remake is just like one step too far. Nani and Lilo's parents died, and Nani might lose custody of her sister. Also, she wants to go to college on a full-ride scholarship.
Picture this. It's 1850 and you're a bird. In 19...
I know what can match you.
Wrestler's ring name can be a key part of their success.
Welcome to the CBS Friday Night Block Party for out of this world shows that believe me, I should know. And let's get the party going with the Earthlings on Family Matters. That's a funny family, but what planet does that circle fellow come from?
Do you remember Friday nights on TV in the 1990s? That golden stretch between dinner and bedtime when every living room in America glowed with Family Matters, Step by Step, and Boy Meets World. The popcorn was popped, the homework was technically done, and TGIF on ABC was more than a lineup. It was a ritual. But in 1997, something rather wild happened. So, grab your remote, dust off your VCR, and let's rewind to 1997, when CBS threw a party that nobody showed up to. Then, Friday night TV changed forever. And hey, if you love these deep dives into forgotten corners of TV history, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It helps more people find these videos, and it keeps us digging up the weird, wonderful stuff that the networks hoped you had forgotten about. Alright, let's head back to the fall of '97, where CBS thought it could out TGIF. The night the music changed. CBS had long been seen as the grown-up network. Dependable, serious, the place your parents went for Sunday dramas and police procedurals. It had the prestige, but what it didn't have was a youth audience. Executives wanted to fix that, and the man leading the charge was Leslie Moonves, the ambitious president of CBS Entertainment. Moonves had built his reputation on bold programming swing, and was not afraid to turn a network rivalry into a full-blown turf war. He looked at ABC's Friday dominance and thought, why can't we do that? Only he didn't just want to compete. He wanted to take the crown. So, in early 1997, CBS quietly reached out to the creative team behind TGIF's biggest titles, Family Matters and Step by Step. Their producers, William Bickley and Michael Warren, were practically sitcom royalty at ABC, architects of that entire family-friendly tone. But their show's ratings had dipped, and their contracts were nearing renewal. All while Disney's new leadership wasn't offering very much incentive to stay. LA Times. The network offered what insiders were calling an exorbitant deal. Roughly $40 million for new episodes of Family Matters and Step by Step both. It was a shocking sum of money in the late 90s, especially for aging sitcoms. And it instantly signaled that CBS was serious about stealing ABC's Friday night crown. Overnight, TGIF's heart was gone. Two of its most familiar families had packed their bags and crossed the street. And just like that, CBS declared war. They even had a name for their shiny new lineup, the Friday Night Block Party. Stealing the crown. To understand just how wild of a move this was, you have to know what it meant in the 90s to move networks. It didn't happen often, especially not for established sitcoms with loyal audiences. Viewers associated shows with their home networks the same way they associated jingles with cereal. You didn't just watch Family Matters. You watched it on TGIF. The blue ABC logo before the theme song was practically part of the show's DNA. But Leslie Moonves wanted to shake things up. His idea was pretty simple. Take the heart of TGIF and rebuild it with some CBS polish. Something both kids and parents could watch together, but framed as a little more upscale and a little less bubblegum. He wanted the same audience ABC had, but he wanted advertisers to see CBS as the smarter version of Family Fun. So he didn't just bring over Family Matters and Step by Step. He also ordered 2 brand new sitcoms to fill out the block. One of those shows was titled The Gregory Hines Show, a warm, rounded single dad comedy starring one of the most charismatic entertainers in the world. The show followed Hines as a widowed father trying to raise his teenage son while navigating dating again. Heartfelt, mature, and quietly funny. The other show? a high-concept fantasy sitcom called Mego, starring Bronson Pinchot. Yep, Cousin Balky himself, as a 9,000-year-old alien who crash lands on Earth and becomes a nanny for 3 kids. Among those kids is a young Michelle Trachtenberg, years before Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and pre-Jerry Maguire Jonathan Lipnicki. Yup, an alien nanny in 1997. And it wasn't just any sitcom team behind these shows. It was the same Miller-Boyett production powerhouse that had built much of TGIF's legacy. Full House, Perfect Strangers, Family Matters, Step by Step. The logic was simple. If the formula worked before, it could work again, even on a different network. CBS threw everything behind the launch. The network rolled out a full-scale marketing blitz. Billboards in major cities, glossy magazine spreads, and cross-network promos showing Urkel and Patrick Duffy side by side, inviting America to a new kind of Family Friday. The visual branding even borrowed TGIF's cheerful energy. Bright colors, upbeat music, and cast ensembles smiling like old friends. They called it the CBS Friday Night Block Party, because if ABC had TGIF, CBS wanted to host the neighborhood version. Same vibe, different street. And this is the lineup they locked in. 8 p.m., Family Matters. 8:30 p.m., Mego. 9 p.m., The Gregory Hines Show. 9:30 p.m., Step by Step. 2 solid hours of family comfort television, the same basic DNA as TGIF, just stamped with a new logo. Critics immediately dubbed this the Great Sitcom Migration. Industry press compared it to a network raid, noting how CBS had poached the very heart of ABC's Friday night identity. On the insides of ABC, executives were furious, but publicly downplayed this. One programming head later admitted that losing the shows hurt our hearts more than our ratings. They'd assumed that TGIF was loyal to the brand, not the shows. And those executives were wrong. For the first time in nearly a decade, TGIF had a challenger. And not just a challenger, but a clone built from its own DNA. It was bold, calculated, and for a moment, everyone wondered if CBS had just pulled off television's biggest network heist. The party that never quite started. When the Block Party premiered on September 19th of 1997, the numbers weren't disastrous. Family Matters opened to roughly 8.6 million viewers, a steep drop from its ABC heyday, but still respectable for a Friday night slot. And Step by Step held most of that audience through the hour. For a moment, CBS looked like it might actually pull this off. However, the glow simply didn't last. Within weeks, the audience started to drift. Critics and casual viewers alike noticed something that CBS's glossy marketing couldn't disguise. The tone was all over the place. Mego was a broad, kid-friendly farce built on slapstick and early CGI effects. The Gregory Hines Show was a gentle, adult-leaning dramedy about a widowed father rediscovering life and love. There was nothing inherently wrong with either of these ideas. Both of them had proven pedigrees. But when placed back-to-back, they made the block feel tonally confused. Viewers tuning in for Urkel and the Lambert family weren't sticking around for an alien nanny or a single dad's quiet introspection. Family Matters fans wanted cartoonish energy and wild physical comedy. Step by Step fans wanted cozy family chaos. The Gregory Hines Show was just too grounded and subdued for that kind of crowd, while Mego felt too juvenile for adults. It was kind of like serving dessert and a salad at the same time and calling it a meal. Still, CBS continued to push forward. For a few weeks, promos insisted that the party was just getting started. But behind the scenes, executives already knew the ratings curve was heading in the wrong direction. Mego was the first casualty. Critics annihilated it. Variety dismissed the show as a relic of the 1980s that feels 10 years too late. And Entertainment Weekly gave it an infamous grade F, quipping that it makes Alf look like Shakespeare. Only 6 episodes of Mego aired in the United States before CBS yanked it from the lineup. The remaining 7 episodes surfaced later in international syndication. Without Mego, the block lost its kid appeal. The Gregory Hines show hung on a little bit longer. Reviewers admired Hines' warmth and charisma. The Washington Post called it modest but appealing. Yet the show never rose above mid-single-digit Nielsen ratings. CBS even shuffled the show around its schedule before just quietly canceling it, leaving 7 episodes unaired. That left just Family Matters and Step by Step, 2 veterans suddenly stranded in a half-empty lineup, and even the vets were struggling. By its 9th season, Family Matters was showing fatigue. The cast had been playing these roles for nearly a decade and morale was at an all-time low. Behind the scenes, tensions were reportedly flaring over creative direction. Midway through the season, Jo Marie Payton, who played Harriet Winslow since the show's 1989 debut, just walked off the set one day after disputes about tone and focus. She was then replaced by Judy Ann Elder, a move that blindsided longtime fans and underscored how far the show had drifted from its roots. As if all of this weren't enough, the show itself was caught between identities. After years of leaning into sci-fi and fantasy storylines, Steve Urkel cloning himself, inventing time travel chambers, shrinking rays, and even transforming into Stefan Urkel through a machine, CBS decided they wanted to rein things back in. Producers encouraged to make Family Matters feel more grounded again, closer to the early seasons that focused on family dynamics rather than cartoon physics. But by 1997, audiences had come to expect the opposite. Meanwhile, Step by Step delivered 19 new episodes, its usual mix of light family humor and teen subplots. But CBS's enthusiasm waned. Ratings hovered around 8 million viewers, and the network opted to not fund a finale. The series simply ended. No closure, no send-off, no final hug between Frank and Carol. By January of '98, CBS had quietly phased out the Block Party branding from all of its promos. The experiment that had begun with so much confidence was over in just barely 4 months. This party, as it turned out, had never really gotten started. How CBS lost the battle, but won the war. On paper, yes, CBS's Block Party was a failure. 4 shows, 2 cancellations, and 2 fading veterans. By the summer of 1998, it was just all gone. But here's the twist. The CBS network actually got what it wanted. The move had never really been about building a powerhouse Friday lineup. It was more about breaking ABC's monopoly on family sitcoms, and in that sense, the plan worked perfectly. When Family Matters and Step by Step walked away, TGIF lost its anchors. ABC scrambled to fill the holes with things like You Wish and Teen Angel, both being supernatural comedies aimed at kids that fizzled out pretty much immediately. Viewers drifted to other nights, and within 2 seasons, the once mighty TGIF block was just running on fumes. CBS didn't so much create a new empire, it simply toppled the old one. And the irony of all this? Leslie Moonves really didn't care. In later interviews, Moonves would acknowledge that trying to mimic TGIF's formula wasn't a sustainable tactic. He tested the market, proved that the family sitcom bubble was about to burst, and then used that experience to reposition CBS for the next era. After CBS's Block Party collapsed, the network quietly stopped chasing the family fun audience and decided to go in the opposite direction. Darker, sleeker, and more adult-oriented. Within a few years, the same network that once advertised Urkel and Cody Lambert on Friday nights was airing things like CSI, Cold Case, and Ghost Whisperer. Procedural dramas and supernatural thrillers that dominated the same time slots that TGIF once ruled. By the early 2000s, CBS owned Friday nights once again. Not so much with laugh tracks, but this time with body bags. It was honestly kind of the exact opposite of TGIF, but it was built on the same real estate. In hindsight, the Block Party looks less like a failed imitation and more like a controlled demolition. CBS wasn't building a new house. It simply burned down the neighbors and claimed the lot. Even the shows themselves mirrored this strange transition. Family Matters tried to return to its emotional roots on CBS, dialing back its science fiction antics and refocusing on the Winslow family. But this shift came far too late, and the finale aired without any fanfare. Step by Step more simply just faded away, with its final episode airing in June of 1998, again with no formal goodbye. Migo became a trivia answer. 6 episodes aired before cancellation, and The Gregory Hines Show was a respectful footnote remembered fondly by critics but unseen by most viewers. All of these shows together represented something bigger, the last breath of the traditional multi-camera family sitcom, before television's taste shifted permanently. The audience that once gathered for corny lessons and living room hugs had moved on. Cable, edgier humor, and serialized drama were taking over. The CBS Friday Night Block Party wasn't just the end of a TV experiment. It was the moment an entire genre quietly slipped off the air. The end of an era. By the end of 1998, the phrase family sitcom no longer meant what it used to. Audiences were moving forward towards sharper humor and younger networks. Will and Grace, Seinfeld, Friends, Frasier were all busy defining broadcast TV adult comedy. Nickelodeon and Disney Channel would soon own the kid-friendly space. TGIF limped along for a couple more seasons, but the magic was gone. The block tried to reinvent itself in 1999 with new titles like Odd Man Out and Two of a Kind, yet ratings just continued to slide downward. By the fall of the year 2000, ABC officially pulled the plug on TGIF, ending an 11-year run that had defined Friday nights for an entire generation. The CBS Friday Night Block Party was the last major network attempt to recapture that feeling. A network literally tried to clone the magic of a previous decade, only to discover that nostalgia isn't enough to build an audience. You can buy the shows, copy the vibe, even hire the same producer, but you cannot recreate a moment in culture once it has passed. Still, it's hard not to feel a little bit of sympathy for this experiment. There was something kind of sweet, almost innocent, about CBS thinking that they could bring back that Friday night glow by gathering familiar faces and saying, "Come on over, we'll throw our own party." And for one season, they did. And for that one singular season, kids saw Urkel and the Lamberts on a different channel and maybe didn't understand why it felt a little off. Why the laughter felt quieter, the colors flatter, and the stories all a bit smaller. Maybe the party just wasn't the same when it wasn't at ABC's house. However, the block party deserves a place in TV history. It wasn't just a flop. It was a cultural turning point. The end of TGIF's reign, the moment when the classic American sitcom started to fade from network primetime. After 1998, there would still be plenty of family shows, but never again like that. Never again the shared rhythm of pizza, theme songs, and safe laughs. Never again the sense that Friday night belonged to families. The block party didn't kill that feeling on purpose. It just marked the moment that we realized it was gone. And that's what makes this so fascinating. Not because it failed, but because of what its failure revealed. That every era of television eventually runs out of Friday nights. So, that's the story of the CBS Friday Night Block Party. A one-season experiment that tried to copy TGIF, ended up killing it, and somehow still managed to reshape Friday nights forever. It's kind of easy to look back and laugh at it now. The wild network poaching, the alien nanny, the heartfelt single dad show sandwiched between Urkel and the Lamberts. But for one strange, albeit brief moment, it really felt like TV history was changing right in front of our own eyes. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you remember watching the CBS Block Party when it aired on TV? Were you one of the few who followed Family Matters or Step by Step over to CBS? Or maybe were you still loyal to TGIF and didn't even realize that they had moved? Drop a comment below and tell me what you remember from that era. The shows, the promos, the weird cross-network confusion, or even just share your favorite Friday night sitcom you remember growing up. We love reading your stories, and honestly, they're half the fun of making these videos. If you've enjoyed this deep dive into forgotten TV history, make sure to hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and ring that bell so you don't miss out on our next trip down the primetime rabbit hole. Because yes, the 90s might be gone, but around here, we're keeping the reruns alive.
No, cheater! How can you cheat on Monopoly? Well, you was in there so long, when you came back, the hotel was condemned.
Remember when Primetime wasn't afraid to get real? Good Times wasn't just another 70s sitcom. It was a bold, funny, and sometimes brutally honest look at family life in the Chicago projects. The show followed James and Florida Evans, their 3 kids, and their nosy neighbor Willona as they tried to keep their heads above water in a Chicago housing project, finding laughs and love even when money was tight. Airing on CBS from 1974 to 1979, it was groundbreaking television that TV Guide later ranked as one of the 100 best shows of all time. But behind those laughs and that groundbreaking storytelling was plenty of off-screen drama. Stars and producers clashing over the show's direction, cast feuds that lasted decades, and even a lawsuit with a not-so-happy ending. Today, we're counting down 15 weird facts about Good Times you probably never knew, from surprise guest stars and behind-the-scenes battles to the real stories that inspired the Evans family. And trust us, you won't believe the feud at number 1. But first, be sure to like and subscribe, because it helps us continue to uncover these TV gems to share with fans just like you. Now, let's get into it with number 15, the family feud you didn't see. Whether you caught Good Times during its original run or discovered it in reruns after school with a bowl of cereal, you knew the Evans family didn't have it easy. They were broke and life kept throwing them curveballs, but what you loved was how they stuck together through it all.
If he don't win first prize for talent, he's bound to win it for guts. I'm gonna leave it up to you, Mama. Fix anything you want for my victory dinner.
You had Esther Rolls Florida, preachy but wise. John Amos as James, trying to keep a job and keep everyone in line. Bernadette Stannis as Thelma, you know, the smart one you had a crush on or wanted to be like. Ralph Carter's Michael, who was always down for the culture, and Jimmy Walker turning JJ's antics into comedy gold. Sure, they were struggling, but they had each other's backs, right?
Thank you, brothers. On behalf of my 6 sister-nuts, we'd like to say thank you for your kindness and generosity.
Well, I hate to break it to your inner kid, but behind the scenes, some TV family members could barely stand each other. Here was the tea that would have blown your mind back then. Jimmy Walker admitted in interviews that during the entire run of the show, he basically didn't talk to John Amos or Esther Roll unless the script told him to. We're talking seasons of awkward silence between takes. It was like they were total strangers when the cameras weren't rolling.
We were never friends. We never talked. If you said at that time, call Esther and ask her about, I wouldn't even have her number. I couldn't have called John. I wouldn't have had his number.
And here's where it got messy. As JJ became the breakout star, I mean, every kid in America was walking around and yelling, Dynamite!
Happy bright now, man! Pure dynamite!
Roll and Amos got seriously annoyed. They thought the writers were turning the show into the JJ Comedy Hour, complete with all the stereotypes they were trying to avoid. In a 1975 Ebony interview, Roll straight up said the show had made JJ more stupid as it went on, and called him a terrible role model for young black viewers. Imagine hearing that from your TV mom. Walker felt it too. He talked about feeling the odd man out, skipped the dressing room hangouts, keeping to himself while watching his castmates basically choose sides. On one side, you had the serious dramatic actors, and on the other, the guy everyone tuned in to see do his catchphrase. And if you want to know how deep this rip really went, when Esther Roll passed away in 1998, Jimmy Walker was the only main cast member who didn't show up at her funeral. Yeah, it was that bad. So, there you had it. The Evans family that taught us about sticking together through thick and thin, in real life couldn't wait to get away from each other. Sometimes the magic only happened when someone yelled action. Number 14, JJ's catchphrase almost didn't happen. Okay, think back to those days when you could make your friends crack up just by yelling one word at exactly the right moment. For Good Times, that magical word was Dynamite.
Happiness, man! Dynamite! You on the tubes, man!
And it almost never made it to your TV screen. Here's the wild part. Jimmy Walker thought the whole thing was ridiculous. The show's director, John Rich, was absolutely convinced it was comedy gold, and Norman Lear, the guy running the whole operation, hated it. But Rich kept pushing and finally talked everyone into letting JJ drop his dynamite just once per episode. That's all it took to change TV forever.
Hello! Let your fingers do the walking because you got kids and dynamite? The talking.
By the time season 3 rolled around, the studio audience was so ready for it that Walker could barely step through the apartment door without the place erupting in cheers. You probably remember doing it too. Kids were shouting it on every playground in America. Your parents were dropping it at the office, and suddenly dynamite was everywhere. We're talking t-shirts, commercials for Panasonic tape players, and yeah, there was even a kids magazine called Dynamite that ran for almost 20 years. Whether that was a coincidence or clever marketing, JJ's catchphrase had become a full-blown cultural phenomenon. Walker later spilled that he'd actually based JJ's whole vibe on Ed Norton from The Honeymooners. You know, Art Carney's goofy sewer-working character, but it was that one explosive word that turned him into the breakout star. The Evans family was dealing with some heavy stuff: poverty, sickness, crime, all the real problems hitting black families in the 70s, but let's be honest, half of America tuned in just waiting for JJ to drop that explosive catchphrase. Number 13, the age gaps that fooled everyone. You know how some things from your childhood just don't add up when you look back? Well, here's one that'll mess with your head. The Evans family ages were completely bonkers and none of us caught on. On screen, James and Florida looked like they'd been married forever, raising kids and dealing with life like any other middle-aged couple.
I'll fix that. Don't worry about no dinner. Just sit down and relax. Florida, it sure is good to have you home. Yeah, without a doubt. Thank you, James.
In one episode, Florida even mentioned that James was 3 years older than her, and we totally believed it, but here's the kicker. In real life, Esther Roll was actually 19 years older than John Amos. She could have been his mom, not his wife. Meanwhile, John Amos was only 8 years older than Jimmy Walker and just 14 years older than Bernadette Stannis. So, while he was supposed to be this experienced father figure keeping his teenage kids in line, in real life he was barely out of their age bracket himself.
Hey, you know, baby, I mean, it's a son's big day. He's gonna be 18. I want to give him something better than I got when I turned 18. What was that? A draft notice.
But John Amos sold that fatherly authority so convincingly that we never questioned it. He had that withered, seen-it-all presence that made you believe he'd been through decades of hard work and raising kids. The guy was such a pro that he made us forget he was closer in age to his kids than his wife. Just goes to show how good makeup and solid acting can sell any story, even when the math doesn't add up. Number 12, the twist that changed Good Times forever. Now, if you grew up watching Good Times, there's one moment that probably still gives you chills. That gut-punching opening of Season 4 wasn't just devastating to watch, it was basically the show's way of dealing with some serious behind-the-scenes drama. See, John Amos had already been shown the door after going to war with the producers. He was furious about what they'd done to JJ, watching him transform from a goofy big brother into what Amos saw as a walking stereotype. And he wasn't keeping quiet about it either.
I wasn't the most diplomatic guy, like I said in those days, and they got tired of having their lives threatened over jokes. So they said, tell you what, why don't we kill him off? And we'll all get on with our lives. Life's too short.
Esther Roll was right there with him, publicly calling JJ a clown and a horrible role model in magazine interviews. By the end of Season 4, Roll had had enough too and walked away, leaving the Evans kids basically orphaned. The writers scrambled to fix things by moving Florida and her new husband to Arizona and having Willona step up as the new mother figure. But let's be real, it just wasn't the same show anymore.
What is going wrong in this family? Y'all coming in late? Don't have your meals together anymore? You don't even see each other for days at a time. Y'all are getting on my nerves.
Roll did come back for the final season after the producers promised to dial back the JJ antics, but the magic was gone. The show limped to its conclusion, a shadow of what it used to be. And here's the wild part. Norman Lear might have fired John Amos, but apparently he couldn't stay mad. A few years later, Lear brought him back for 704 Hauser, a reboot of All in the Family. So while James Evans got one of the most shocking death moments in TV history, Norman Lear and John Amos clearly figured out how to work together again down the road. By the way, we covered 704 Hauser in our 1994 TV flops video. The link is in the description if you missed it. Number 11, Janet Jackson's sitcom roots, and how she roasted them later. Before Janet Jackson took control and won a bunch of Grammys, you know, she was a good kid on Good Times playing Penny, the sweet little girl Willona adopted to save her from an abusive home. It was heavy stuff for a sitcom, and honestly, it was some of the show's best writing. Janet absolutely nailed it too.
Well, the truth is, I went downtown to see the old Midwest movie, and I loved Midwest movies.
You couldn't help but fall in love with her character and chuckle about her sweet crush on JJ. Fast forward to her superstar days, and Janet got the chance to revisit her Good Times roots in the most Janet Jackson way possible, by completely roasting it on SNL in 2004. Picture this, Janet playing Penny again, but this time in a totally ridiculous parody that cranked everything up to 11. Maya Rudolph was doing double duty as both Thelma and Willona. Tracy Morgan showed up as everyone's favorite Superintendent Bookman, and Kenan Thompson had Florida's mannerisms down perfectly. The whole sketch basically treated the Evans apartment like it was some kind of disaster magnet where tragedy struck every 5 minutes. They weren't wrong. That family went through more drama than a soap opera, but that's what made the parody so perfect. It proved that Good Times had become such a cultural touchstone that people were still referencing it decades later. And you've got to love that Janet was totally game to poke fun at her own TV history. Not every superstar would be willing to go back and laugh at where they started, but Janet, she knew it was all part of her story. Number 10, the Fields family's Good Times connection. Okay, here's a connection that'll blow your mind if you're a child of the 80s. Remember Tootie from The Facts of Life, that adorable chatterbox? Well, years before Kim Fields was cracking jokes at Eastland Academy, both she and her real mom, Chip Fields, had multiple appearances on Good Times. Chip originally auditioned to play Thelma Evans, but didn't get the part. The producers clearly liked what they saw, though, because they kept bringing her back. First, she played Rochelle, one of JJ's dates in Season 2's two-part episode JJ's New Career. Then, the following season, they cast her as Penny's abusive mother in one of the show's darkest storylines.
Didn't I tell you to come straight home from school? Yes, Mama.
But you disobeyed me, didn't you?
Talk about range, going from JJ's love interest to one of the series' most disturbing villains. And Kim Fields also popped up on the show as one of Penny's classmates, so you had future Tootie and her real-life mom both making their mark on Good Times in completely different ways. It's one of those perfect, wait, what? TV moments that shows how interconnected the world of 70s and 80s television really was. Number 9, the guest role that changed Gary Coleman's life forever. Before he became the breakout star of Different Strokes, Gary Coleman was quietly testing the sitcom waters. Norman Lear spotted him in a Harris Bank commercial and thought, that kid's a star.
You can never save too much money.
You should have a Harris Bank.
You should have Vietnam.
To prove it, Lear slipped Coleman into a few of his shows. On Good Times, Coleman showed up twice as Gary James. First in Season 5, Episode 24, That's Entertainment Evans Style, and again in Season 6, Episode 5, Florida Gets a Job.
Funny little fellow.
And on The Jeffersons, another Lear vehicle, Coleman showed up as Raymond, George's nephew in one episode.
Who are you?
This wasn't some quick walk-on either. Coleman was front and center in the episode, showing off the same wit and timing that would soon make him famous. The test worked. Lear decided Coleman needed a show of his own, and Different Strokes was born. Coleman didn't just star in it, he carried it, becoming one of the biggest child actors of the late 70s and 80s, and a true pop culture phenomenon. Number 8, the theme song was a 70s banger. You know how some theme songs are catchy and others are powerful? Good Times said, why not both? The theme song had a gospel groove with lyrics that punched you in the gut and lifted you back up, usually in the same breath.
Temporary layoffs.
Temporary layoffs? Good Times. That's bleak, but also oddly hopeful, like the show itself. Written by Dave Grusin with lyrics by Alan and Marilyn Bergman, the Good Times theme was about surviving the system and staying grounded in family. It wasn't just a bop, it had a message. And who sang it? Well, that powerhouse opening vocal is Jim Gilstrap, joined by Motown's Blinky Williams, and yes, they absolutely went off. But here's the part that's tripped people up for decades. What are the actual lyrics? Even Chappelle's Show made a whole bit out of this. It's right up there with Hold Me Closer, Tony Danza in the Misheard Lyrics Hall of Fame. Listen to this part and tell us what you think in the comment section below. According to the DVD box set, streaming captions, and general hearsay, it's hanging in a chow line. At least that's what I always say. But the Bergmans and series star Bernadette Stanis confirmed it. The real lyric is hanging in and jiving. So, now you know. The theme song's message was always joy through struggle, and that's exactly what Good Times delivered. Every single week. Now, since you're still here, be sure to like and subscribe. It lets us know you're loving this trip down memory lane. Now, let's get back to the countdown with number 7. Michael Evans was almost someone else. Before Ralph Carter became politically outspoken Michael Evans, the role almost went to someone else. Producers first hired Haywood Nelson, who'd later star as Dwayne on What's Happening.
Hey girls, gather round. Listen what I'm putting down. Hey baby, I'm your handyman.
But when they spotted Broadway actor Ralph Carter, already seasoned from A Raisin in the Sun, they swapped him in. The reason was that Carter had more experience performing in front of a live audience, and the producers wanted someone who could handle the pressure of a studio crowd. And get this, even a young Lawrence Fishburne was considered for the part. Imagine seeing Morpheus spouting political one-liners about Black history in the Evans living room. Once Carter was in place, the writers loaded Michael up with the show's sharpest cultural commentary. He was the one pointing out racism, inequality, and politics, and the producers figured it would land softer coming from a kid.
Why did it have to be me?
You know, son, you got a lot of smarts. It'd be a shame to waste that God-given talent in a bad school.
If God gave me talent, it was meant to be used in my own neighborhood with my own people.
Still, it made Michael one of the most unique sitcom kids of the 1970s. Even cooler, Carter, Nelson, and Fishburne all grew up together and stayed close friends long after their child actor days. 3 different paths, 3 different careers, but all still tied back to those early auditions. Number 6, Bookman was more than a building superintendent. You probably remember Nathan Bookman as the building super who was terrible at his job and constantly caught heat from the Evans family and Walona. But Johnny Brown, the actor behind Buffalo Butt, was actually way more talented than his scheming character ever let on.
My 8-year-old daughter thinks she's Jewish, but we won't tell her any difference because we wanted to marry a doctor.
Before Bookman, Brown was doing his thing on Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In. You know, that wild sketch show your parents probably watched before you were born? The guy was a triple threat, a singer, dancer, and stand-up comic who'd worked with legends like Sammy Davis Jr. He even had his own recording deal and could do a spot-on Louis Armstrong impression.
It's so nice to have you back where you belong.
Here's something that'll blow your mind. Johnny Brown was actually considered for the role of Lamont on Sanford and Son, but he couldn't take it because he was already committed to Laugh-In. Talk about loyalty paying off in different ways. Can you imagine Fred Sanford dealing with Johnny Brown instead of Damon Wilson? Brown kept working well into the 90s and 2000s too, popping up on shows like Martin, The Wayans Brothers, and The Jamie Foxx Show. And here's a fun family connection. Brown's real-life daughter Sharon showed up on Good Times 2 playing Fun Girl in a Season 5 episode. Johnny Brown passed away in 2022 at 84, but his legacy goes way beyond those broken windows and leaky faucets. The man was a true entertainer who just happened to play one of TV's most memorable building supers. Heart-bumbling handyman, heart schemer, but always entertaining. Number 5, James Evans almost didn't exist. Here's something that could have changed television history completely. James Evans almost never made it to Good Times, and if Esther Roll hadn't put her foot down, the whole show would have been totally different. When Florida first appeared on Maude, she was married to Henry, a firefighter, also played by John Amos.
I'm Henry Evans.
I'm Walter Finley. Come in.
But when Norman Lear decided to give Florida her own spinoff, his original plan was to ditch the husband entirely. He wanted Good Times to focus on a single mother struggling to raise her kids in the projects, thinking it would be grittier and more socially relevant.
You live with a man for 22 years. You wake up one morning and all of a sudden he's Superfly.
Esther Roll was like, absolutely not. She wasn't just being difficult either. She had some serious concerns. First off, viewers already knew Florida was married from watching Maude, so suddenly making her single would be weird and confusing. But more importantly, Roll felt strongly that showing another black family without a father figure would just reinforce harmful stereotypes that were already way too common on television. So she drew a line in the sand and told Lear straight up, no husband, no show. She wanted Florida to have a strong present father figure standing beside her, and she wasn't budging on that point. Lucky for us, Lear listened, brought back John Amos, changed the character's name from Henry to James, and television history was made. John Amos brought strength and dignity to the role of James Evans.
We used every trick in the world to get by. You all ought to see the budget Florida had to feed us on.
Yeah, it ain't enough to make a flea let out his belt.
Creating a character who proved that fathers matter both on screen and off. Amos passed away in 2024, but his portrayal of James Evans remains a cornerstone of television history. Number 4, Willona Style was purely her own. If you watched Good Times, you know Willona Woods was hands down the most stylish person in that Chicago housing project. While everyone else was just trying to get by, Willona was serving looks, bold colors, trendy cuts, and enough flair to make you forget she was living in the same building as the Evans family.
I recognized him. After my divorce, I was so low I could have milked a snake. Oh, I don't know what you're talking about.
And here's the secret behind her killer style. Those fabulous outfits weren't coming from some TV wardrobe department. They were straight out of Janae Dubois' own closet. Instead of letting costume designers pick her clothes, Dubois basically said, thanks, but I've got this, and started bringing her own wardrobe to set. That personal touch made all the difference. Willona's style felt authentic because it really was. It was literally Janae being herself through her character. She once said her job as Willona was to make it right, fast, and funny, and she wasn't kidding about the wigs, the hats, and everything else being a dream come true.
Isn't it true, dear? Didn't you fall down? Who does that sucker think she's fooling?
The result was TV magic. You had this character who wasn't just talking about being a confident, independent woman. She was dressing the part too, in clothes that actually reflected the personality of the actress wearing them. Willona didn't just light up every scene with her wit, she lit it up with her authentic style. Janae Dubois passed away in 2020, but her legacy lives on through Willona's unforgettable presence. She proved that sometimes the best costume is just being yourself, fabulous wardrobe and all. Number 3, the stars who kept coming back. For a show that spent most of its time in one cramped Chicago apartment, Good Times was like a talent magnet. Seriously, if you go back and watch those episodes now, you'll be doing double takes at all the famous faces that wandered through the Good Times set. We're talking about people who were either already stars or about to become huge. Jay Leno making his TV debut in 1976, Debbie Allen before Fame, Carl Weathers before he was Apollo Creed, and even Boss Hogg himself, Sorrel Book, years before he was causing trouble in Hazard County. You've also got Robert Guillaume, John Witherspoon, Charlotte Rae, Cheryl Lee Ralph, and a bunch of other actors you'd recognize from your favorite 70s and 80s shows. But here's where it got really interesting. Some of these actors liked the show so much they kept coming back as completely different characters. Louis Gossett Jr. showed up first as Thelma's older brother, then later returned as Florida's brother Wilbur. Theodore Wilson played both a theater owner and the unforgettable Sweet Daddy Williams.
Thing is, JJ there, tell him that Sweet Daddy Williams is here.
And B.B. Drake also pulled double duty as Savannah Jones in one season and Larry Baker's mom in another. Even the artwork had celebrity connections. All those paintings JJ was supposedly creating, they were actually done by acclaimed artist Ernie Barnes, whose elongated, soulful style gave the show its visual signature. His masterpiece, The Sugar Shack, now owned by Eddie Murphy, became iconic thanks to the show, and Barnes even showed up in a cameo himself. Looking back, Good Times was like the neighborhood everyone wanted to visit, sometimes more than once. Number 2, Lionel Jefferson co-created Good Times. Now, here's something that'll blow your mind. Remember Lionel Jefferson, George and Louise's son from All in the Family and The Jeffersons? Well, Mike Evans, the actor who played him, didn't just act in Norman Lear's shows. He actually helped create one of them. Evans teamed up with writer Eric Monty to pitch what would become Good Times. They sold their idea to Norman Lear, who loved the concept, but made some major changes, like bringing in Florida Evans from Vaughn to anchor the show.
We both slept kind of miserable, but James won't have Harvey.
Still, the heart of Good Times came straight from Monty and Evans' original vision. But here's where it gets complicated. Even though Evans co-created the show, he and Monty struggled to maintain creative control as the series developed. The power structure of television production meant that other writers started taking the show in different directions, leaving the original creators feeling sidelined from their own creation. Meanwhile, Evans had left his role as Lionel on The Jeffersons to focus on Good Times. Damon Evans, totally different guy, just confusing last name, stepped in to play Lionel. When Good Times ended, Mike eventually returned to reclaim his Lionel role after Damon moved on.
George! It wasn't Jenny's idea not to tell you, it was mine. Yours, that's right. And the reason why I didn't want you to know is because of the way you're acting right now.
And here's a cool detail. While the Evans family surname was pure coincidence, naming the youngest son Michael was actually a tribute to Mike Evans himself. So even though the creative process got messy, at least one character kept his name alive in the show he helped bring to life. Mike Evans passed away in 2006, but his contribution to television history lives on through Lionel Jefferson and the Evans family he helped create. Number 1, the feud that didn't end well. Now, here's the most heartbreaking story about Good Times, and it involves the guy who literally lived it before he wrote it. Co-creator Eric Monty didn't just imagine the Evans family struggles. He grew up in Chicago's Cabrini Green housing project and poured his real childhood into every script. Those cramped apartments, broken elevators, and the constant fight to make rent were all part of Monty's actual life that you just saw on TV.
Are you a professional man?
Yes.
Working with Mike Evans, Monty created something groundbreaking. The first network sitcom centered on a black family that was actually created by black writers. And Monty wasn't a one-hit wonder either. He went on to co-create What's Happening and wrote Cooley High, a movie that became a cultural touchstone for an entire generation. But Good Times became his biggest heartbreak. As the show got more popular, Monty watched Norman Lear and the other producers push him aside and turn his authentic family story into broader comedy.
You call her right now. There's something wrong when my nephew don't get all A's.
I beg your pardon. You'll have to excuse my brother.
He felt like they were stealing his voice and his vision, turning something deeply personal into just another punchline factory. In 1977, Monty had had enough. He filed a massive lawsuit against Lear, CBS, and the producers for over $300 million, claiming they'd stolen his ideas and cut him out of his own creation. The case eventually settled for about $1 million in some residuals. Money that Monty said never came close to making up for what they'd taken from him or the damage it did to his career. The wound never healed. When Norman Lear died in 2023, Monty admitted he'd never forgiven the man he once trusted with his life story. It's a painful reminder that while Good Times gave us laughter and unforgettable moments, it came at a heartbreaking cost to the person who made it all possible. So, there you have it. 15 weird, wild, and sometimes heartbreaking facts about Good Times. Which facts caught you by surprise, and which ones did we miss? Let us know in the comments section below, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss our next trip back through TV history. Until then, this is Remember When.
You're gonna be just like old spoiled bougie brat and leave, whatever leave, all right? Get the stepping, Gina.
I'd rather be spoiled than being ignorant, no class having, big and jackass.
Remember when a single sitcom could give us catchphrases, legendary roast battles, and a whole new definition of friendship goals, all from a one-bedroom apartment in Detroit? Yeah, that was Martin. From 1992 to 1997, Fox's Thursday nights belonged to Martin Lawrence and his crew. Martin Payne was a fast-talking radio DJ whose life was equal parts ambition and catastrophe. His girlfriend Gina, played by Tisha Campbell, could hold her own in any argument. Tashina Arnold as her best friend Pam, Fam never missed a chance to roast Martin. Carl Anthony Payne II as Cole was the lovable goofball whose brain moved at its own special speed, and Tommy, he was played by Thomas Michael Ford, the well-dressed mystery man whose job nobody could ever figure out. For 5 seasons, they argued, laughed, and somehow became one of the most iconic casts in sitcom history. Today, we're counting down 15 weird and wild facts about Martin, from behind-the-scenes drama to how one man played a dozen characters each week and somehow didn't lose his mind. Now, before we get started, be sure to like and subscribe. It really does help the channel, and trust us, you'll want to stick around to the end. Now, let's go. Oh, and a huge shout out to Ben Cromwell, who suggested this one in the comments. Thanks for the idea, Ben. This one's for you. Number 15, the show was created from Martin's stand-up. Martin wasn't dreamed up in a network boardroom by executives trying to capture urban demographics, though they definitely used that phrase in meetings. It came straight from the source. Producer and writer John Bowman, who'd worked on In Living Color, caught Martin Lawrence's stand-up act and thought, this needs to be on TV every week. Execs asked the usual broad appeal question, and Bowman said the funny is the appeal. Lawrence's high-energy routines about relationships, life, and everything in between became the blueprint. Bowman helped shape those stand-up bits into a sitcom structure, but the voice, pure, unfiltered Martin Lawrence.
No, I'm just saying, don't be nervous. Now, that's cool. We family. All right, look at me. Damn, shit. Why you got your eyes on you? You all right?
The character impressions that he'd been doing on stage for years, like the sassy neighbor, the smooth-talking player, and the overbearing mother, became Shanae, Jerome, and Mama Payne. The jokes about relationships, apartments too small for all the people in them, and friends who treated your fridge like a free buffet, those became 132 episodes. When the writing worked, it worked because it sounded like Martin. When Martin improvised, it worked because the show was already built around his rhythm. There was no disconnect, no translation needed. Just straight from the comedy club stage to your TV screen.
You know what? You amaze me, Pam. Do you have a man?
You know I don't.
And I see why, okay? Let me say something. Me and Gina's thing ain't material.
Fox didn't create Martin. They just gave Martin Lawrence a studio, a camera, and 22 minutes every Thursday night to prove Bowman right. Number 14, Martin's catchphrases became pop culture currency. Every decade has its slang. The 70s had Far Out, the 80s had Gag Me With a Spoon, but the 90s? Well, the 90s belonged to Martin. You go, boy, flipped the familiar cheer into something sharper, funnier, and so iconic that Lawrence named his own production company after it. You Go Boy Productions. He literally branded himself with his own catchphrase. That's commitment. What's up? Martin's shout that later exploded into a whole ad era. What's up? What's up? Martin was yelling it at the radio station while the culture was still catching up. You know you remember those commercials. Then there was Damn Gina. Damn! Martin's exasperated reaction to his girlfriend that somehow became the universal phrase for when someone you love is simultaneously frustrating and appealing. Even Shanae Jenkins had her own contributions, like the unforgettable "Oh No You Didn't," complete with the neck roll and finger wag that became the ultimate way to shut someone down with nothing but attitude. Decades later, people still yell "You Go Boy" at their friends, drop "What's Up" in text messages, and give the Shanae neck roll when someone crosses a line.
What do you want, Shanae?
Oh my goodness. If it isn't Little Miss Attitude.
Martin didn't just create catchphrases, he created a whole vocabulary that outlived the show by decades. Number 13, Thomas Michael Ford appeared in every single episode. While Martin Lawrence was the undeniable star, the face on every poster and promo was Thomas Michael Ford, and he's the only cast member to physically appear in every single one of the show's 132 episodes. Every single one.
Well, what about the back of your neck? What about it? Look like a pack of hot dogs. Oh, no.
Even when Martin was off screen playing Shanae or Jerome, Tommy was there. When Tisha Campbell had conflicts and her scenes got limited, Tommy was there. When Carl Anthony Payne disappeared for stretches during season 5's behind-the-scenes chaos, Tommy was there. When the set was falling apart from lawsuits, enough off-camera static to power a whole spin-off, Tommy showed up and did his job, which is ironic considering nobody ever figured out what his actual job was. Speaking of his job, Ford's character, Tommy Strong, became legendary for one specific reason. his mysteriously non-existent employment. The running joke started when Ford asked the writers for more backstory. You know, standard actor stuff, like, what does my character do for a living? And instead of giving him one, they decided to troll him for 5 seasons. You ain't got no job, man.
Tommy, what? Everybody in the audience knows damn well you ain't got no job, man.
Became an all-time classic sitcom line, and a question that was never ever answered. Was Tommy independently wealthy? Was he a trust fund kid? Did he run a successful underground business? Well, the show never told us. And that ambiguity became funnier than any actual answer could have been. When Ford passed away in 2016 from an aneurysm at just 52 years old, the tributes poured in from castmates, colleagues, and millions of fans. Appearing in every single episode of a sitcom is actually insane. Most shows can't even keep their lead in every episode, but Tommy, perfect attendance.
Maybe I can get you a job where I work, you know, doing what I do. Oh, yeah? Yeah. Well, okay, well, let me ask you something. Just what the hell do you do, Tommy?
5 seasons, 132 episodes, and 0 absences. For a character who was infamous for not having a job, the actor definitely took his job seriously. Rest in peace, Tommy Ford. Thanks for showing up and entertaining us for so many years. Number 12, the cast had 2 major reunions and made Emmy history. Even decades after Martin went off the air, the cast kept finding reasons to get back together. Some reunions were sweet, others were long overdue payback. In 2022, BET Plus brought the whole gang back together for Martin the Reunion.
This one's for you, Tommy. What's that? You thought it was right.
For the first time in 30 years.
A 90-minute special where the cast sat in a replica of Martin's apartment, shared stories, and paid tribute to Thomas Michael Ford. The special gave fans the closure the show's chaotic final season never did, but that wasn't the end of it.
There'd be a Martin reboot. I mean, the people want to know.
Fast forward to January of 2024, and the main cast reunited again, this time on stage at the 75th Primetime Emmy Awards. The set, another recreation of Martin's apartment, complete with the iconic couch and that painting nobody remembers but everyone recognizes. The cast opened with jokes about the show never being nominated for an Emmy during its run, despite massive ratings, undeniable cultural appeal, and 132 episodes of pure comedy gold.
Carl, we're not winning an Emmy tonight. Please sit your butt down. What is that? Carl, we're presenting an award, not being presented with one, knucklehead.
Keisha Campbell summed it up perfectly. We should have had a couple of Emmys during our run, but we were never even nominated. After the laughs and the pointed commentary, the cast presented the award for Outstanding Lead Actor in a Comedy Series, a category Martin Lawrence should have been nominated for multiple times. 30 years later, they finally got invited to the Emmys, not to win, not even to be nominated, just to hand someone else a trophy. At least the couch looked good. Number 11, from hip-hop legends to Hollywood icons, everyone showed up. Martin was a VIP lounge where hip-hop royalty, Hollywood icons, and R&B legends showed up to get roasted on national television, and they loved every minute of it. The show pulled in some of the biggest names in music and entertainment, often letting them act instead of just perform. The Notorious B.I.G. guest starred as himself, stopping by Martin's radio station.
So what brings you to town, man? I'm looking for a background singer to go on the road with me. That ain't gonna be no problem here.
Naturally, everyone tried to audition, including people who definitely shouldn't have. Method Man showed up in 1997 as a burglar who robbed Martin's apartment, while Martin thought it was just an elaborate prank.
Oh, snap. Pam sent you, right?
Watching Martin try to figure out if he was being robbed or pranked was pure comedic confusion.
Be careful with that. Yeah. Thank you, man. It's the first time anybody ever helped me, Jackal.
Joan Blow played a nightclub owner. Kid and Play turned up at a house party because, of course they did. R&B stars like Jodeci and Brian McKnight added serious vocal firepower to episodes that blurred the line between sitcom and concert special. And the guest list? Well, picture this. You had comedy royalty like Marla Gibbs and the late Sherman Hemsley popping in for different episodes. Snoop Dogg showing up in another episode, getting music industry advice from Jerome. Billy D. Williams sharing screen time with Gary Coleman.
I waited a long time.
Yeah.
To come here and thank you.
And even Chris Rock as Shanae's date. The casting director clearly had the best Rolodex in Hollywood and zero interest in playing it safe. Every guest became part of Martin's universe. They got roasted, they roasted back, they felt like real people dropping by a friend's apartment, not celebrities making awkward cameos for publicity reasons. Number 10, Martin Lawrence built a movie career while filming a sitcom full-time. Most sitcom stars wait until their show ends to chase the big screen, but Martin Lawrence said, "Why wait?" and did both at the same time. Between 1994 and 1997, while filming Martin every week, Lawrence released 3 major films and a stand-up concert movie, proving he could dominate television and movie theaters simultaneously.
No, I got to breathe, baby.
First came You So Crazy in 1994, his stand-up concert film that earned an NC-17 rating for being too raw for the MPAA to handle. Apparently, Network Martin and Unfiltered Martin were 2 very different people. Then, in 1995, Bad Boys paired him with Will Smith in an action buddy cop film that grossed over $140 million worldwide and launched a franchise that's still running 3 decades later. Not bad for a TV star's first major action role.
Well, you know the barrels of ether that blew up on the ice cream truck? They were going to use that to process the heroin.
A year later, he starred in, directed, and co-wrote A Thin Line Between Love and Hate in 1996, proving he wasn't just an actor, but a creative force who could build projects from scratch.
Oh, I think she's expecting me. Oh, okay. Damn, you just chicken delivery boy, huh? You're a well-dressed one.
And in 1997, as Martin's final season aired, Nothing to Lose hit theaters with Lawrence playing opposite Tim Robbins. That's 4 major releases in 3 years while shooting 22 episodes of television per season and playing multiple characters per episode. Those actors pick one, sitcom star or movie star. Martin Lawrence decided to be both, simultaneously. By the time Martin ended in 1997, Lawrence wasn't just a TV star looking for movie work, he was already a proven box office draw with a film franchise under his belt. Number 9, Martin hired his childhood friend with 0 acting experience. If Martin felt like it had real friendship chemistry, there's a simple reason for that. Martin literally hired his childhood friends to be on the show. No acting classes, no auditions, just Martin Lawrence picking up the phone and asking, "Hey, you want to be on TV?"
Martin, how you doing, man? Hey, what's up, Nipsey? Yeah, I saw you on TV tonight, man. Yeah, you was the man. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Right, but look, man. Hollywood casting directors everywhere just felt a disturbance in the force. Sean Lampkin, a close friend from back in the day, played Nipsey, the friendly bar owner whose spot became the crew's unofficial hangout. After the show ended, he kept that role going in real life, working as Lawrence's assistant on films like Life, Big Mama's House, and Bad Boys 2. Well, then there was Kenneth Wack, who played Kenji, Dragonfly Jones's punching bag of an assistant.